Der AM-Cast. Gespräche über Gottes Wirken heute und Mission weltweit. Herzlich willkommen zum AM-Cast, dem Podcast der Allianz-Mission, und zwar zu einer weiteren Ukraine-Spezial, einer Sonderfolge, in der wir rausschauen, was in der Ukraine Menschen bewegt, wie Menschen helfen und was wir als Allianz-Mission als Beitrag dazu tun können. Heute habe ich bei mir den Leiter unseres Partnergemeindebundes in der Ukraine, Andrej. Andrej, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Andrej, you are president of our partner covenant in the Ukraine, and we're connected through the IFEC, the International Federation of Free Evangelical Churches. So, how many churches are in your covenant, and where are they located?
There are 6 churches, as far as I remember, plus one church would like to join us. I am not officially the president, but I'm one of the leaders, let's say, this way. So we have the church, I'm always starting from the south. We have the church in Simferopol, our association in the partnership with the Free Church of America planted it. We still have good contacts. And after annexation, we're still in touch with them. So Simferopol, then Kharkov, 2 churches in Dnipro. I'm the pastor of one of it. It's Morning Star Evangelical Free Church, plus Kryvyi Rog and Kramatorsk. Couple churches too there.
Thank you for the overview. Since Russia started the war against the Ukraine, life and church life has changed drastically for your churches. How do you experience, how are the churches impacted, and how will church life look in the near future?
The war really impacted. In my church, 80% of the people is gone.
80%?
Yeah, so they left the country. Some churches didn't lose so many people, but it influences the situation. It's classic. Basically, what happened, we just trying to use the situation to reach the people with the gospel, and especially we're thankful to the help of the mission of the Free Church of Germany too. So we're doing it basically through the buying of the small grocery sets. And especially in my church, every Friday we are doing the evangelism meetings. So we give the invitation to the people. People come, we preach the gospel, give them this a little bit of food. And what I noticed that they are listening very attentively. And the blessing is that in each church, in spite of the fact that many people left with the kids, like in my church, the small group of people left. And this is a good team. This is a good team. They are still very helpful. So we're basically trying to use the situation to preach the gospel. And of course, in my church right now, 15 people left, but we have 20 new people who came because of this evangelism. Yeah. And as the totally, like the new feeling, it's a different church, and you have to start from the scratch in this sense. And it's from one side, I would like to see my old members. I love them. We're still in touch, but it's a special feeling to see the new faces and to start to bring them up from the scratch, from the zero. So this is it's an inspiring fact in this sense. And we've reached many people who are around the church. They said, "Oh, we don't know that because our church is in the private house. We don't have a big cross on the top of it." So, and I was always thinking how we can reach the people in the area. Yeah. And God did it through this war. It's a horrible thing, but God is still good to use it to open people's eyes for Jesus, for the gospel.
Yes. So we actually have the possibility today to meet personally, because you're on a short visit to Germany to see your wife and children who came to Germany in the early days of the war. I was asking myself, how did you as family get through the long period of being separated as family?
It took some time to get used to it. Like in my case, I think a couple of weeks when I came back from Germany, it was really hard. But then somehow God helps.
Okay.
He gives peace and he gives energy. Plus, again, like Paul says, you don't have to care so much for the kids and for the family. In this sense, you have much more time, and I could invest all this time in the ministry. And especially when I came for 3, maybe or 4 weeks, we still had the ministry to the refugees. I had to sleep in the church sometimes for several nights straight, helping people, preaching people. It's the people who were going from the east part where the war is to the west, and they were stopping in our church building for 2-3 days. So from one sense it was hard, from another sense it was a blessing, because I didn't have to worry for them, that they were in the safe place, and I had more time. So God helped, basically. It's okay.
I guess it sounds easier than it actually is emotionally. So you already noted a little bit, as partners in mission, we as Allianz-Mission could provide humanitarian aid, transports for refugees, financial support for the churches in the Ukraine. You already told a little bit how your church you're working with is able to help. How do other churches were able to help until today, especially for the people who needed to leave their home cities?
What we do basically right now is evangelism through the giving out of the grocery sets. And it works perfectly everywhere, because the social level of the people, so their financial ability dropped down.
Okay.
They couldn't buy, there is no much job in the Ukraine. So that's why it works. The better, the poorer the area is. And you had a podcast with Yuri Vachnenko, one of our pastors from the East. He basically gave us the example.
Yeah.
So we're doing this plus minus the same in Kramatorsk, and there are hundreds of the people coming.
Yeah.
Then we're doing the same in Dnipro, in Kryvyi Rog, and in Kharkov. And the blessing for us is that the Free Church of Germany gave us the sum of money, and it's not big, I think, generally speaking, but it's still big in Ukrainian context. Basically, in our case, we need 150 euros to make one evangelism meeting. It's like 60-80 grocery sets. Like in our hall, we have 62 places, and we spend usually 150 euros, let's say this way, to prepare this evangelism meeting. And we're very thankful to the Free Church, to Albert, and Albert was very open. It's very easy to get in touch with him, to fellowship with him. We have a group in the Telegram where we give account for all the money we receive. I'm very careful about it, and I don't want to misuse it. Yeah, so in this sense, we're really blessed that the help came on time.
Yeah,
I think in our case, because we're a small group of people, we actually don't have, for right now, many contacts with the churches abroad, and a little bit with Canadian church, and we're very thankful to them too. And the help from the Free Church of Germany was on time and is very helpful.
Thank you. You already mentioned your colleague Yuri from Kramatorsk, who's also, as you told me, a longtime friend, and he's really experiencing kind of revival. He already reported on this podcast. Beside all the hardship the war is bringing, I heard some Ukrainian leaders talking about a greater spiritual movement among the Ukrainians. Do you see something like that, or is it too early or too simple to talk about that?
I think we need some time to take a look. Kramatorsk is a quite poor place.
Okay.
And the humanitarian aid and such kind of evangelism, like this grocery sets, works perfectly there, even before the war. In my city, I would not start it before the war. I was quite pessimistic. Yeah. But generally speaking, of course, what I could say, even COVID didn't touch people's hearts. I didn't see any big changes in my close friends or generally speaking in the city. But of course, the war forces people to think, frightens them and forces them to think about the life and death. And generally speaking, people are more open to the gospel. We had, for right now, like 12 or 13 evangelism meetings every, 12, 13 Fridays when each Friday I was preaching the gospel. Never even once we had somebody who was irritated by the gospel. And I'm quite straightforward. I am telling them what Jesus did. They have to make a decision. It's the issue of life and death. Yeah. And they're listening to me with big eyes. And once I asked them the direct question, would you be here if not the war? They said no. So generally speaking, people are much more open to the gospel, but I can't say that it's a revival for right now. No, it's my feeling. I'm a small pastor.
Yeah. Thank you for that observance. You already mentioned that COVID already really changed people's life over in the Ukraine. How do you observe the atmosphere among your fellow citizens at the moment? Is there a hope for a soon end of the war? What are people's biggest concerns and most urgent needs?
The most urgent salvation in Jesus and gospel. Yes, in their
amen. Say it, preacher.
Of course, people are desperately want the end of the war. Yeah. They are tired because it's like the analytics, everybody listens to the TV. And analytics were saying 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 months, and it's always moving ahead. Yeah. And people get tired a little bit. So generally speaking, of course, I think that we should keep on preaching the gospel because the peace of Christ is the only thing which could help them. Because our government constantly saying, believe in the вооруженные силы.
Militär.
In the military troops, believe in them, but we understand that this phase in the military will not really help you. So people need hope, need Jesus, and on the physical level, especially for the pensioners, like the old people on the pension and refugees. Actually, 500 people left my city and 200 refugees came. So they are they need just the simple food in the sense because they don't have as much money and they don't have job. There is no work almost no work in the city. So that's why this simple thing when we're just on the invitation we write like the flour and oil for free. They come. They come. Of course, I'm thinking, what should we do more? Many people couldn't go to the vacation. I'm thinking maybe we can provide something for the kids, maybe kind of like the summer camp for the kids, something interesting, serve to the families. These are my ideas now. So the situation forces you to think about the needs. So it's pure. The spiritual need, I think it is much obvious right now because there is no big hope. And the big hope is only Jesus. And we're using in Christ this. Then, of course, materials, a simple thing as food. Maybe it's not even maybe as much as clothes, but food. And maybe the ministry to the kids, I think this is what I would like maybe to try to start. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So you've been talking about displaced persons, refugees in the Ukraine. We also welcomed many of them here in Germany. So many refugees found a temporary home in Germany, more than 500 of them with private hosts from free evangelical churches here in Germany. Focusing on them, what should hosts here in Germany focus on when welcoming refugees in the homes? How can they help? What is important to know?
I can say that at first I'm very grateful to the German government and to the German Free Church. When you come from the war zone, just the fact itself that you have a place where there is no war, you have a bed, you have food, it's already incredible. Yeah. And for me, and I think especially blessing, especially for the believers who leave the country when you come to the church. Because like my wife, we were 3 months with her relatives, lovely people, we love them and we're very thankful. But it's anyway, when you're in the church, it's different spirit, you just feel it. So it's everything is very simple. So when you just open your house, invite these people, give them the place to sleep, it's a blessing. And I think that Germany is the most caring in this sense, social system concerning the money and everything else, very comfortable country. Now, I think that the church should involve these people if they stay longer, if they are the believers. Should involve them into the ministry, I think, and soon I will address the congregation in the Czech Republic, and the pastor asked me to say something to the refugees, and I would like to tell them that don't be a burden, be a blessing. So serve with what you have.
Okay.
And of course, if these people are unbelievers, I think it should be some wisdom, service, at some point preaching of the gospel to them, and then just feel the situation. I think you shouldn't let people use you if they do it, but you just need to feel. But the fact itself that people are opening their houses, their hearts, and blessing, helping these people is incredible. Help it by itself. So it's simple.
Okay. So you will continue your travel today. Where will you go, and when will you return to your church in the Ukraine?
My plan, I came to take my family back to Ukraine. It's a little bit hard decision because the war is going on. It's a number of reasons why I'm doing it. The plan is to go through Czech Republic tomorrow morning. I have a friend there, the pastor of the Bratska Cerkva, a very good friend of mine. Then Slovakia, and then we'll cross the border with Uzhgorod and go further to Ukraine. So this is the plan, and I'll just keep on preaching, serving to the church, doing like the usual pastoral routine, trying to help our association, help the brothers. So I will bring some aid from the German Free Church in this sense, and again, this is a big blessing for us.
Okay, well, we wish you very good and safe travel.
Thank you.
Having a lot of blessings for you and your family, and staying safe, especially with the children.
Thank you.
So, coming to an end, what perspective you have on the future of the Ukraine?
My prayer that God will give us not just peace, but victory, and then peace. So this is what I'm praying about. I really hope that in the near year at least, the army will move the Russian troops from the south, and we will be able to freely keep on serving, preaching, and raising the church. So hopefully it will work out well, generally speaking. So I'm positive. For right now, I believe that God will bless us, and I'm praying that God let me see the victory in this sense. I would like to see at least a little bit of справедливость, justice, a little bit of justice, at least at this simple level, that to get rid of this crazy Russian army, all this lie, all this evil, what they're doing. So hopefully God will bless us, will free our country, and we will be able to serve there further, to serve further.
Okay, last question, which is always very important to me, is what can our listeners pray for specifically for you, for your churches, for the Ukraine?
Safety, strength to keep on doing what we're doing, because sometimes you just want to come back to the usual church routine, but you always have to go further in this evangelisms and talking to the people. So safety, wisdom, and unity of those who left.
Unity.
That we will be. No, we're okay with unity, but if somebody will pray for it, that we will keep on being a good team, keep on serving, doing our ministry.
Danke für Ihr Interesse und dass Sie so Teil von Gottes weltweiter Mission sind.